Hello, everyone. John Anderson here, the Beer and TV Ramble, looking at old Milwaukee Ice. 24-ounce can I picked up. Of course, one of the ice beer craze that took place in the 1990s, courtesy of Ice House, which was the first U.S. ice beer that came onto the scene. 1994, Plank Road Brewery, or in Milwaukee, aka Miller Brewing Company in Milwaukee, um, which started it. Now, some would say the ice beer craze really began in 1993 with Molson Ice, and then Labette says no, they're the ones who first patented the ice beer, and of course they came out with Labette Ice. Of course, both of those beers are in Canada and North America. In North America, the two ice beers I mentioned. And of course, then here in the States, you had, as I mentioned, Ice House, and then popularity of Ice House led to other companies jumping on the brand. Of course, Anheuser-Busch has Bud Ice and Natural Ice, two of the popular ice beers that you see in every store. Of course, came out with from the Keystone line. They came out with Keystone right also in 1995. I forgot to mention Anheuser-Busch. You had Natural Ice, Bud Ice was first, then Natural Ice, and Busch Ice. So, of course, the Coors Brewery Company, of course, with their line Keystone Light, of course, their that time was a premium brand beer, but now a light beer, but became their light beer in 1994. 96 also came out at the same time. 95, excuse me. And and now you have Old Milwaukee came on the scene with their ice beer to compete with the others. Also, Milwaukee's Best from Miller, their discount brand. Milwaukee's Best Light, Miller Light, Milwaukee's Best Light, and then Milwaukee's Best Ice, which I have a candidate, and I will be doing a review of that soon from the Miller Brewing Company. And then, as I mentioned, Keystone Ice. So the Pabst Brewery, or at that time, which was Stroh's was owned by the Stroh's Brewery, I should say, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Of course, they were bought out. Stroh's was bought out by Pabst, and now it's under the Pabst umbrella. Of course, they have Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, and now Old Milwaukee Ice. So, typical standard lager. You can see by the color here, my little glass. Yeah. Um, it has a little scent of a heavy malt liquor. I mean, 5.9. Some would say 5.9 might be on the leaning towards more of a malt liquor compared to Ice House and Busch Ice, which are both at 5%, 5.5% ABV. And some would say it's kind of the same, if not identical. That 5 point, I mean, there's taste or style, but if you look at the others that are 5.9%, natural light, Busch light, I mean, but natural ice, Busch Ice, Keystone Ice, and this one here, 5%. They kind of say more lean towards a malt liquor. Natty Daddy by Anheuser-Busch InBev. You got the 6% and you got the 8.1%. Many say the 6% is kind of on that malt liquor line. So maybe you could say for this, same for this one, for the Old Milwaukee Ice. Um, Maybe the same. I found this in Georgia. I was in Atlanta the other day. I was coming back home from New Jersey. I stopped at Atlanta, taking the bus back, doing the cheap route, which is the best thing to do, knowing the cost of airline tickets. Um, I flew out of and in and out of Atlanta to LaGuardia, which is of the three major airports in New York City. That's the cheapest. Kennedy, Newark. But I stopped. I had a little time to kill, and I went to a convenience store, and I saw other beers there that I had done reviews of, and I said, "Ooh, Old Milwaukee Ice. Let me grab that." Of course, I did a lot of beer shopping when I was up there as well, and picked up a lot of other beers that I'm going to be sampling soon. Um, but anyhow, it has a scent of a malt liquor, this old Milwaukee Ice, but it's just not. But very crisp, very refreshing. It has a scent, but it's not it. But it's not a malt. But maybe it is. I doubt it. But it's more of a lager, I feel. Just like I have this debate with the guys with Mickey's. I could compare Stan Mickey's up against Budweiser any day. I think it's a very good lager, but and it's only 5.6%. But many look at it as a malt, but as a malt liquor. To me, high gravities I feel are at probably past the 6% level in my opinion. I would consider a malt or a high gravity beer. I don't like using the word malt liquor. I just think it's past. It's just I don't say it's negative, but I just think it's more. Let's call it what it is. It is what it is. It's a high gravity lager, a high gravity beer. A little more alcohol in it, but people say it's or high gravity ale. But people, you like to use the term. I just think the term is just it's not. It's not kosher for me to say malt liquor. I just say high gravity beer, ale, lager. I prefer saying that. That's just me. Malt liquor, I say it. But I just think it's what it is. But this, as you well know, depends on where you are across the country. It's been very warm, particularly here in the southeast. And while I was home for Christmas up in New Jersey, it was very unusually warm. It was in the 70s, and this is pretty much what this beer is perfect for at that time of year. 70 degrees. Springtime in the summer. Perfect lager to go with. Um, to have nice, refreshing, relax. Just to take it easy after a long day at work, or you're doing the lawn, or sitting in the front porch. And pairing this with, you can do shrimp po' boy with some fries with this, or some crawfish. And eat. Sample that. Seafood. Um, Typical. Burger. You know, with all the fixings and some fries. Basically, it's that's what I would pair this with. I would say more seafood um, with this beer. It's a shame that this beer is not available everywhere. I don't think it is. I think this one of these sort of legacy beers or legendary beers are going to be slowly beginning to disappear and go away. You don't see much of it around anywhere. I don't see it around in Mobile. I was shocked to see the Bush Ice in Mobile. I was like, what the fuck is this? But don't see this much again. And I'm gonna get into it later with probably when I do a review with on another beer I'm gonna be doing a review with, and even some of the beers I brought back. It just shakes my head, and it's a shame that it's all about market, it's all about demographics. If you live in a particular area and just beer companies will distribute a certain beer to your city, your region, and others that just won't will just completely ignore and just say, yeah, we'll bypass that, and here it's only get in terms of ice beers again, as I mentioned in my area in Mobile, all we get is Bush Ice, and which is very limited, but uh, Natural Ice, Bud Ice, Keystone Ice, and of course Ice House. Of the ice beers, we have, and um, that's pretty much what we get, and it's unfortunate, but I mean all of them are good. Don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice if there was more of this around, you know. But so it's slowly beginning to go away. Obviously, Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light are more common. Depends where you are, in your city. Um, and though those are good beers, and Old Milwaukee Light, even though it has very low ABV, I think it's about like 3.9%. It's a pretty decent light beer compared to You know, you could match it with Busch Light and Keystone Light and Natural Light. But even though the ABVs on those beers I mentioned are a little higher than Old Milwaukee Light, but it's a pretty decent beer. But Old Milwaukee Light, again, are pretty much common when in your city. And if you have this, I say savor it. This is not going to be around much longer, so get a can of it. So I like it. It's a good beer. So I'm going to give this beer, for the style, I'll give this about an 8.5. Good enough. So tell me what you think on the bottom. Comments on the bottom. Leave your statements. Jonathan Pierre, the Beer and TV Ramble. Telling you, keep watching, and as always, cheers.